Hey everyone, today I'm doing Hmong myth legends, which is me, Ukraine Thor. The first one says Nyojong, which means hello in Hmong. It's always a great thing to greet Hmong people when elders come to you. Who's the god for Hmong? Wada, which is Hmongism. These two bullets shows this picture. It's like a yin and yang, which is yin and yang. Temple of Hmongism. More Hmong gods than others. The highest god, which is, I can't pronounce it, but it means shaman and adult abilities. The first shaman, Shigi, means when they're in ecstasy. Da, which is like spirits, move in different worlds. The frog god, the blue Lu, which is the creator of humans. And whatever that is, we can't pronounce, but it is the lord of other worlds, determining life and death and reincarnation or western heaven. And Dog Ball is the goddess of babies. General location for the Hmong. They live near or direct mountains or hills, like in that picture on the left, which is a green Hmong example, like a green Hmong village. But then once you look over there, over here, it's like trees and mountains. Where is Hmong currently living? China, which is 3 million people, because that's where they were born. Vietnam, look at all of these. China and Vietnam are the most. The United States has about 260K, which means it may grow poverty to 270,000 maybe in this year. The historical of the Hmong. It started in the late 18th century in southeast China. It was originally part of China before moving out, because they moved down south, probably due to a war. And when the Hmong started, they said they claimed origin of Yellow River of China. And these are the Hmong clothes for people wear. Continuation of the Hmong history. As we probably all know, the Hmong fought against the North Vietnam, which also the U.S. also came to help and fight the North Vietnam from the Hmong not being killed. But most of them were killed due to the war, and the survivors began moving to the U.S. And here's a flower cloth. It's probably might take weeks or months made, because it's always taking time. Thesis. The thesis is the Hmong who have begun living in the world of earth begins the creativity of living life in every world of problems, which will forever be solved. Which means like every problem could be made, but they will be solved maybe in the future. First story, the beginning of the world. The man named Lu Tu was a man who was an adult with his wife Li Jinti or Jing Tang. They first began when they had home but no food. So they traveled place to place and they see mountains of seed and grains. So they picked up the seeds and grains and planted each row. Because then each plant grew, which is mostly corn and rice. But since they were fully grown, the huge wind blew them away and made them all disappear. So once they go back in, strangely, the plants, they began to come back to the man and said, please let me in. Since there were theirs that grown crops, that they let them in. Every few days they come in and in for the plants to grow. As they all grow and they all came back in, all the crops that they grew finally came back together. And they finally survived from hunger. How the sun and moon came to be. Started with a man and woman. Woman was hungry because she was also pregnant with a new baby boy, which is Teng Cho. As what she says. He goes up to the back of the mountain and grab an animal or meat on the sky. Bring him down, bring him to the woman, and then she got food because of that. All that, Tengchu was born. Only 3 days later, when he was born, he went outside and saw the sky, so he expanded it. He expanded the sky every year. As soon as he got older, his father and the boy, Tengchu, expanded the sky, clapped 3 times, and stamped 3 times. It's expanding the sky as every year it goes. And that's how the sun and the moon expanded as he got taller. The woman and the tiger. It started off with the tiger, saw the man trying to kill the monkey. But then the man leaped to the man and killed the man. So he wore the man's clothes. And he went to his house to say that he is the father. And the man's wife thought to believe it was his father, but the main character, Yer, which is probably Yer's sister-in-law, the man and the wife, sister-in-law, I guess, she knows that this man is a tiger, so she ran up. So then after that, the tiger ate the man's wife and their children. Because of that, she grabbed salt and spread it into his eyes. So he went. This is why he's covered his eyes and he's going to go to the river to wash his eyes. So he went down and he went to his family. She went to her family, called them out for help. So the tiger came back and the family told him to come over with them. And the tiger knew that he knows he's going to accept it and they're going to kill them after. But he fell into a trap and then dies by killing. He dies because the family killed him. Clever over hunger. The tiger. Well, the tiger sneaked in, waiting for its prey, and then strike. Clever over fear. Yer was very smart. She sprayed salt water into his eyes so she could call her parent and her family to come over and help her. Split horn. There was one king that ruled over 3,000 people. But then the big eagle monster, the big eagle always came night after night, killing mostly over a lot of people, which means that one king requested a brave man who was brave enough to kill the eagle. So after that, the brave man was once called. So later he went to the desert and saw the desert king. The desert king says, "I need a request to kill the eagle and bring them to me." The brave man once did that, saw the eagle and killed him with his sword. He also spread the bones everywhere. It was fine as that day started. But after day after day, he was tired. He was tired and stressed. So he placed each bone into random places. Once that happened, every person who was born was either left hand, right hand, or left dominant, or right dominant. The blood in the Hmong clans. This is where it started. This is the brother, and this is the sister. They were the only one living. Everyone died due to the flood. So the brother and sister was sad, but they were not sad enough because there was no one living in their land. So the brother wanted the sister to be married, but since the sister didn't want to, it took days for her to rethink. She said this: if the stones were put to the top, she will marry him. So since that started, the brother and the sister were asleep, then he sneakily woke up and put the stones back to the mountain. Since the sisters saw the brother, they were married. After they were married and they have a baby, but then the baby was born, but it looks weird. So they cut the baby up for seeds, which are the number of seeds, the last name. 2 seeds from the goat house is the Lee clan. 2 seeds from the pig pen is the Mo clan. And the garden for 2 seeds is the Yang and the Bang clan. And others that include Tao, Shong, Ku, Fu, and Hang was once also born. Conclusion, hope you enjoyed this Hmong presentation. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next presentation. But I have a Kahoot. So I can